So, welcome back. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, I appreciate you so much. Um, I know if you see this, like, I don't know why, but I'm being shadow banned. I mean, I guess I do actually kind of have suspected reasons why, but gang stalking and all that stuff. And especially since, like, I found a couple channels where they're actually talking about gang stalking and related topics. And since I started posting there, it's either since that and or, a while back, I had posted on a couple like videos that looked like they were spirituality or tarot style of videos, but I'm pretty sure they were AI. And I was not liking like the way they lay these videos out. They'll spend like 5 to 10 minutes at the front of the video, front loading it with all this like it almost kind of gives you the feeling of like when scammers send you emails that are full of like that urgent language to scam you out of money or to get you to install things or click links you shouldn't. It feels like that, except it's a video, and they're giving you the impression they're giving you a prophecy, but it really feels like somebody giving you fear and attacking you psychically a little bit. But then they're gonna also say it's from God or Archangel Michael or something like this. And I posted on something and I said, yeah, I've been seeing this, and ever since I did that, like, all right, so until like before, remember there was like a video that I had a lot of views on, and I mean it's not a lot compared to other people, but for me it was a lot, right? And um, but before that, like I used to average somewhere between 4 and 40 people viewing per like video, right? And ever since that one, now I'm getting like four or less per video. So it does seem like there's probably other reasons or factors going on behind the scenes, and I just don't know what it is. But anyways, you know, but so like if you came back, I super appreciate you. I am also, so look, I'm gonna do a message. I am gonna do a reading with cards, but first I want to share with you guys. So, like, something I don't talk to people about much is that I am also a medium. Most of the time, this comes up like sometimes when I do personal reads for people, their ancestors will like they'll be an ancestor energy. Usually, it's mostly grandmothers, but sometimes people will turn up while I'm doing a reading. Well, not that people turn up, but like, not like physically, but like in spirit, I'll be able to feel like the presence of some of their ancestors there. Or I've seen other people's ancestors in dreams that approach me, you know, in the dream space. But like so yesterday I had a really interesting experience, right? And I don't usually share this because, so like, and I don't talk about the mediumship because I feel like when it happens with personal readings, I feel like that is actually that other person's business and it's not my place to talk about that too much. Because I feel like that's not really about me. And I'm just like a really spiritually gifted person. So I have a lot of other spirit gifts. So and I already know what a lot of people think about things, and I'm not interested in like explaining myself or justifying myself or anything like that. I mean, if you guys know me, anyone who knows me will know that like I don't like, well, all right, I super don't like things that feel like a hassle, and I don't like overly explaining or justify things or pandering things or anything that takes me out of like my original element of I'm gonna do it for this reason and it's just gonna be that. So and but anyways, but yesterday, so yes, all right, so and also something else that's been happening for a while is like you know, um, because I had some people who were constantly like spiritually attacking me and sending entities to like attack me and give me like tons of like psychic attacks and spiritual adversity. And it was going on so much that, which in a way I do feel like I should be thankful for that, right? Because like it's happened so much that I am now immune to all of their spell casting, right? So I guess I wouldn't have gained that if it hadn't been for that endless um assaults on me, right? um so like well, all right, so like a lot of times when there are entities that are coming to attack me, I've now been awarded a spiritual authority to offer to basically like tell these energies that like to basically dissolve the binding contracts and agreements that humans use to summon and or puppeteer them around or control them or bind them to them or whatever it is they're doing to force them to come and do this work on their behalf. um so like they don't have to do that anymore, right? So and so like I was given authority to like dissolve these contracts. So usually, so like when entities are like come up against me, I'll just be like I just like rebuke this and cancel it in Jesus name. And then I'll be like, I dissolve your contract that you were sent here on. And so look, you can either go freely and do what you want. You can hang out outside if you want, but you can't be in my house. You can't harm me or my son. It used to be my cat, but my cat passed away. You can't damage my house. You can't touch any of my things. But anything else, like if you want to hang out outside, kind of sort of like as if they were like guard dogs outside, it's like you can do that if you want to. I mean, if you guys want to hang around, just chill out around here or whatever. Otherwise, you're free to go. Um, you know, um, just go and be at peace or whatever. And so but yesterday was something different that I have not had an experience with before, and it was really unique. So um I felt an energy around me in the house. And I don't, you know, like I probably periodically will pray over my house and anoint all my doors and windows and anything that feels like a portal into my house. I'll like anoint it and pray over it, just to re-sanctify and keep up the protections around the house. Especially since like I work from home, so I'm kind of always here, right? Um, so and I'll do that. But yes, till yesterday, I kept feeling like this presence, and I was like, "Well, that's interesting." And the fact that I couldn't tell what it was at first, I was like, I could not tell what it was at first, and I was like, "What in the world?" And then I started to get this feeling, like, here, I'm gonna pause it. So, um, okay, so, but yesterday, so I started getting this feeling, and then it felt like, and I don't know really how to explain how I know this, except it just felt like through clairvoyant visions I was getting. Because I get a lot of visions. I've never really considered myself a seer because I just, like, I don't choose when I see them. I'll just see things when I see them. I used to see things once in a while. These days I seem to see them really often. And, so anyways, um, so yesterday I was getting this feeling like whatever it was had been summoned with graveyard dirt. And I've heard lots of messages across the collective for a while that like that seems to be something that's really popular these days. People are going and getting dirt from the graveyard and then summoning this person and that person and whatever, right? So I was like, and I was like, so I started talking aloud in the room to try and speak to whatever it was, and I was like, so who is this? Who's here? I was like, are you gonna reveal yourself to me? Are you gonna talk to me? Like, what's going on here? Feel you there, you know? And it was just nothing, just this quietness. And I was like, this is weird. Usually, usually, if I'm being spiritually attacked, I'll get sick or get bad migraines or my stomach will be upset or I don't know how to explain it, but there's like a couple different symptoms that I seem to get like when stuff is going on. But yesterday, nothing was going on, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. So but I was talking to them, and so I said, "Well, look, I'll tell you what. Tell you what. I was like, I'll offer you the same thing that I offer when demons and dark entities are sent over here. Whereas basically, whatever people have used to bind you and to disturb you out of the where you were at, and to make you come and do these things, like." I was like, I can dissolve and cancel that, you know, so that you can go back to rest or whatever. And, um, and I was like, I guess for right now, you can stay here if you want to, but I gave them the same rules. I was like, you can hang out here for a little bit if you want, but you know, you can't do anything that's going to harm me, my son. You can't harm my house. I also don't want you to touch any of my things. I don't want you moving my things around. Don't be here and be a creeper, you know? Like if you're going to be here, just be chill and whatever. But because you know what? Like, because here's the thing, right? Like, if whoever sent that energy to me, depending how much they have or what they were using to do it, like, yeah, I might cancel it then, but if I send that energy back and it didn't do what they wanted, like, are they going to keep resending that same energy over and over and continuing to disturb them? You know? So I was like, well, if they want to stay here, they could stay here, right? And then guess what? So, like, last night, when I was trying to go to bed, when I was trying to, like, go to sleep okay, so, like, when I go to bed at night, sometimes I'll, like, watch a couple videos and play a few games on my phone while I wind down. And last night, all of a sudden, like, when I was doing that, I thought I felt something on my arm, like somebody touching the hairs on my arm. But at first I thought maybe it was, like, I don't know why there would be any bugs in the house. So I don't know, I got freaked out that, like, maybe it's a spider or something. So I got up and, like, turned the phone on, my light on, and I was looking around and I couldn't find anything. And then the spot on the bed where I felt my arm being touched was just, like, the super ice cold, right? So then I realized, oh, they're, like, whatever it was just, like, there with me. And, um, so then I said to it, I was like, well, do you just want to pretend to be a cat? And then you could just sit here and I'll pet you, you know? And then she said, and this is when I became aware that it was a girl, right? And so she said, no, I want to be, I want to be a feather. I'm a feather. And then, like, in my seer vision, the feather she was showing me, but it looked kind of like a peacock feather, but instead of being colored like a normal peacock feather, it was like white, all white with these horizontal blue stripes on it, where it kind of almost gave you like this pattern that was like a beach towel, right? Like you would see at a resort. Um, like, especially like an old timey resort. It kind of was giving me like these 50s, 60s vibes, maybe 40s. Um, and so, and I was like, you're gonna be a feather. That's not even a whole animal. Like, how am I supposed to like pet you and all that? I thought it was so silly. And then I started to realize that this was like the spirit of like either a little girl or a young lady. Like, she couldn't have been very old. Like that skip of like, do you want to be a cat? No, I don't want to be a cat. I'm going to be a feather, And it was so like innocent and just sitting there, just being quiet and just hanging out and just being safe. And then so like um well, so I haven't really talked about this, but like I've told a few people, but like so like a couple weeks ago, like there was a week that I was feeling really emotionally dysregulated and having a really hard time. Because sometimes I go through times where like parts of me know that I'm never really alone, but sometimes I do feel really alone because like I'm somebody who believes that loving and being loved is the reason for life and the reason to live. But I also feel a lot of times like nobody that I know really cares about me, not really, really cares about, or don't really love me, or I don't know. I mean, these things may not be 100% true, but it at least feels that way because there's not really very many people who show up for me or are present for me or really do or say much. I mean, there's a few who say a little bit, and even for what they say, they don't really show up for me. Like, a lot of people who talk to me is because I initiate and talk to them. If I didn't initiate with people, then none of them would talk to me, right? Um, except for maybe like the group chats that I'm in with my siblings, right? But anyways, so the other week I was having a hard time and I had this one vision, right? So like lately I have been feeling like when I'm doing really well, I'm having like I feel like I'm really like one with like my Christ consciousness, which is like, being one like with my Redeemer. But then I'll also feel that like I don't know how to describe this oneness, but it's like being in oneness with the universe and in oneness with the earth, in oneness with the water, in oneness with the air, in the fire, in the sub layers of this planet. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like this in oneness with everything. And so, like, I started to, during that week when I was having a really hard time, it was like at like the most troubled. And then I started to have like a vision that I had of sitting with Mother Earth. And we were like in a kitchen that was like in some liminal space that was like in the core of the earth. But instead of looking like the core of the earth, it looked like an old kitchen. And I was sitting, and in that vision, I was like a young girl sitting on a grandma's lap, and the grandma was like Mother Nature, like the spirit of the earth. Because the earth is a living thing, right? So, so I was sitting with her, and she was just rubbing my back and rocking me a little bit, and she was just like, I know, I know. She's like, don't worry. We know all about what happened. We saw what they did. We heard what they said. She's like, don't you worry your pretty little head. You just leave everything to grandma and I'll take care of everything, okay? And then she took me over to this corner. Well, not the corner, but it was like this counter. It was almost kind of like a breakfast nook kind of counter. And then she was like baking cookies and taking them out. And we were just it was just really this super wholesome and heartwarming. Like, when I was feeling like at my worst, she was just there with me and just supporting and comforting. It wasn't, there's like no shame and no criticism. It was just like, it's okay. It was just like this moment of like being seen and being held by like the most ancient and primordial essence that exists on this planet. And that was super affirming, right? Well, anyways, all right. So now that I told that story, so coming back to last night, all of a sudden when I had this energy of like, oh yeah, so like so I was in bed and I had felt like the energy like touch my arm, and then it was cold in the bed, right? So I pulled my comforter up over where she would have been at, and I just rearranged the blanket so it was warming that spot. And and like I don't know how to really fully, I don't know if this will explain it well, but like I kind of started to feel like that part of me that's a mother really kick in and feel like um just taking care of like a young child and just holding them there with me. And then I started to get like this vision last night of like that same grandma earth energy coming and says, "Oh, you did really good. This is perfect." And she's like, "You know what? She can come with me and I'll take her. Okay? We'll help her." And um and then she was gone. But like that entire experience, like just like it, I don't even know what to say except that it's like so ingrained in me and it's like blowing me away. And it's really interesting to me how like what a couple weeks ago I had that vision of like Mother Earth, and then like she comes back like in a moment when something is happening. I've also had like a ton of other visions lately as well. It's like visions of like my Lyran starseed family showing up for me at times when I'm feeling in those kind of lonely places, or the places where I'm still processing like heavy emotions or grief, and them showing up and being around me, dudes. It's been like I don't know where the shift was recently, but like the amount of visions I'm getting and what I'm seeing is just like they're like entire scenes from like movies and stuff. And like all my life I have always been a dreamer, but a lot of times I'll like forget what it was I was dreaming once I'm actually awake. Like there'll be like a 5 minutes after within waking up, and if I didn't write it down, that I'll end up forgetting important things. But then there's been dreams where like I never forget any of it, and I always consider that really significant. So I'm always like, like if I have a dream and I'm remembering everything about it, then I'm sure one day it's going to mean something. And or maybe like a soul memory. Like it's like remembering something that I haven't lived in this lifetime yet, but it represents something. And or maybe is like a clairvoyant vision of like somebody else's memories. I don't know. I do think I get that because I've had some. There are dreams I have, and I will be aware that in the dream, I'm seeing that dream through somebody else's eyes. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not like possessing their body like a demon possession, but I am still watching through that. So like whoever is the main character in that dream, I'll be seeing it through their eyes. It's almost like when you play a video game and you're in first person mode, it'll be like that, except that I'll be aware that I am in a dream space and that I'm watching things because periodically I'll like be seeing it from like a bird's eye view above to see like certain action sequences will keep changing like which angle I'm seeing it from to see different things going on. But like for the most part I'll see those dreams through that person's eyes. So like um I had that happen. I don't know. I am gonna do a reading, but I might post the reading separate from this since I'm gonna like 23 minutes, and I don't even know if anybody will listen to this. If it, who cares about like mediumship, indoor visions, and things like that. So people who aren't interested in that kind of stuff, this isn't gonna appeal to people who just want a tarot card reading with some signs and all that. um, it's probably not going to appeal to those people, and so sorry about that part if you don't like that. If you're a spiritual person, indoor starseed, indoor seer, indoor medium, or some kind of oracle who like sees things as well, then maybe you'll really appreciate this. So, indoor, if you're just somebody who likes me and decided to come and watch to the end to support me, then thank you very much. I appreciate your support since I don't get very much. So, thanks.